All right, want to show you some pictures of some snow that fell over the weekend. Now, this would not be unusual, especially seeing as the weekend we had. However, Frank, this was in the Sahara Desert.
Yeah, unbelievable, Cav.
An Algerian town just off the Atlas Mountains. Still, it's very unusual for this area. They get less than 6 inches of any precipitation a year, but snow?
But you got to remember the overnight temperature in the Sahara Desert does drop down quite cool and quite cold. It's just that they don't have any moisture that will fall in the form of anything. But for them to have snow, remarkable. Some really pretty pictures there. But it's been an unbelievable year. If you think last week we had snow down Charleston, South Carolina, into, of course, Florida, all the snow in Erie, Pennsylvania. Today here in the city of Toronto, we're not talking snow whatsoever. We're talking a little bit of warmer air moving towards us right now, sitting at about -1, -5 into Muskoka, -2 into Wyerton, -3 over towards Windsor, -1, Kingston, -1 as well, and Ottawa. Factor in winds this morning. They sit at around 30 kilometers per hour, so just picked up. They're going to move to a westerly. That creates a wind chill right now of about -8. So still somewhat of a chilly feel to the morning. Another word of warning with those temperatures just below freezing. Many areas yesterday we did see some melting. So I mean secondary streets, sidewalks, parking lots, driveways. And, well, those could be a little bit on the icy side, so be careful of that. Right now, we saw some lighter snow move through earlier this morning. We're underneath some cloud cover, partly cloudy through the afternoon. Still a slight risk of a flurry. Daytime high today going to be about +1, -6 through the overnight, up to 5. On Wednesday night into Thursday, we're going to be warm, we'll be wet, up to 5 millimeters of rain. Friday, there is a little risk that we could see some freezing rain. On Saturday, right now, forecast models showing between 2 to 5 centimeters of some light snow, but colder air returns, -9 into Sunday and -7 into Monday. That's a look at your 7-day forecast, Carrie.
Okay, well, we're hearing about a collision westbound on the 401 at the 412, and that has at least one lane blocked right now. So it's just adding to volume delays that we usually see on the westbound 401 as you head through the Durham region. So that's going to add some extra time to your commute if you're heading that way. Other than that, the major routes are doing okay, but we do have issues in town. A couple of things to tell you about. Avenue Road, that is closed off in both directions between Eglinton and Willowbank. That's because of a collision. There was downed hydro pole as well, so lots of cleanup to do there. And a broken water main that has Bellamy closed off in both directions between Ellesmere and Progress. No word yet when that will reopen. That's it for traffic. Over to you, Tammy.
3 people rushed to hospital. One of them a 16-year-old suffering from life-threatening injuries after a blaze at a home in Victoria Harbour. Now, it happened in a home on Nielsen Road in Victoria Harbour. That's about 50 kilometers north of Barrie. Reports suggest the fire may have started in the family Christmas tree and then spread throughout the home. A 6-year-old and an adult were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. The fire broke out just before midnight. The 16-year-old is being treated at Sick Kids Hospital. This is coming a day after 4 people were killed in a house fire in Oshawa, including 2 children. The fire marshal still investigating the cause and whether there were working smoke alarms in the home.
You can watch. We're relatively safe back here unless they say otherwise.
The blaze broke out around 8:30 yesterday morning, flames shooting out of the back of the home and then quickly engulfing the entire building. It took crews several hours to fully extinguish the fire. Fire officials say a man and a woman were pronounced dead at the scene, along with 2 children. Neighbors telling City News the mother is Lindsay Bonchek and her 2 kids, Madeline and Jackson. They didn't make it out alive. They identified the 4th victim as Stephen McDonald, who they say ran inside the home to save other people. The home is split into multiple units. Officials will now look into whether or not it was a legal multi-unit dwelling. The Ontario Fire Marshal is investigating, but so far it is not clear what caused the blaze or if there were any working smoke alarms in the home. The city and outreach workers continuing their efforts with Toronto's homeless after a week-long deep freeze. A live look now at the Homeless Memorial at the Church of the Holy Trinity. Today at noon, names of those who have died on the streets in recent months will be read out and their names added to the memorial. Overdose prevention officers are also expected to speak at the memorial. There's been a lot of emphasis during this recent cold snap on the plight of the homeless. The city has rushed to open more beds for those needing them, including spaces opened up at the armories and at the Better Living Center. Also today, local politicians are expected to discuss the shelter crisis situation. A nasty water main break in the city's East End has a section of Bellamy closed right now. We have a live look to show you of the scene there. Crews are there right now, and Bellamy remains closed to traffic between Ellesmere and Progress. No word yet on when this will reopen. TTC buses, in the meantime, they're rerouting around the area, and we could see more of this type of problem over the next few days because of the freeze and thaw with those frigid temperatures last week and warmer temps over the next few days before the mercury drops again this weekend. Ontario is vowing to crack down on companies that break any laws if they try to offset high costs due to the new higher minimum wage. Labour Minister Kevin Flynn says clawing back employee benefits is unacceptable.
The stories we've all heard over the past week have not only been disappointing, but quite frankly, they've made the Premier, myself, and others in this province angry.
Flynn hasn't confirmed any specific investigations, but says inspectors are being sent anywhere contraventions are being reported. The province is also hiring up to 175 new employment standards officers to step up enforcement of Bill 148. Calls to the ministry about employment standards violations have been up recently by about 30%. Clothing store H&M coming under fire for a sweater ad that's now being called racist. The company now being called out by Toronto pop star The Weeknd. It was this picture here that caused the controversy. A black child wearing a shirt that says "coolest monkey in the jungle." The Weeknd tweeting, "Woke up this morning shocked and embarrassed by this photo. I'm deeply offended and will not be working with H&M anymore." The singer began working with the clothing company last year, creating a spring fashion line. H&M has since apologized and pulled the sweater from the shelves.